taking lots of prize cards in one go for really dramatic turns.
Yeah, we're looking at these set cards, all of our set cards that are actually being visible by our players right now. It's something new for this season, where once you get into the top card, you get a chance to really have full knowledge of your opponent's deck list. And this is where it makes it real interesting now. There's no surprises, unless you forget. But this is where it comes down to true player skill and ability, piloting their deck, piloting around all of those potential tech options. There's a few things I'll be keeping an eye out for. There's things like that Yveltal with that clutch attack. There's another way, just like James was perfectly using that sob from that Wellspring Pokemon EX in a previous round as well. So let's keep an eye out for so many of these little things that could happen.
Yes, indeed. James could be getting a taste of his own medicine in this matchup with Yveltal being in the mix as well in that cooking pot of our top 8. A delicious battle is about to unfold here in New Orleans. Masters top 8, James versus Miguel. Will the fairy zone stick, or will Dragapult find a way to worm its way out of a sticky situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just also remind ourselves about both of these players, of course. I mean, James is someone we featured a couple of times already. He's played against a lot of Dragapult decks. The deck he wanted to target down with this Lily's Clefairy EX, Mega Kangaskhan, sort of big basic box deck, as it were. And he's been able to go 7-0-1 against all of them thus far. Incredible record, 12-1-1 throughout this tournament. And Miguel on the right-hand side, I mean, there's also been another player who's played against a lot of those Dragapult decks in the field. He's played against 10 of them in this tournament.
That's a lot.
And he's already defeated one Clefairy Toolbox type deck already. So we're in for definitely an interesting one here.
The drama, the suspense is building in the room as the players shuffle up their decks, ready for this showdown. We've got the Dragon Slayer, Miguel playing dragons themselves, and James, who also taken down his fair share of dragon types, but utilizing that wonderful weakness of psychic types under Lily's Clefairy EX's ability, Fairy Zone, which will come out on top. We're almost ready, players, so make sure you're gluing yourselves to your seats. Our basic Pokemon are going down in that active spot. The prize cards are being set. We're almost ready to rumble with our first game of Masters Top 8.
Yeah, game faces on for both our players now. I think it's time. This is shortly going to be kicking things off as well, as it is just getting that final last setup aspect here as our players now are placing their prizes down. We get a chance because of this bird's eye view. Look at those. I mean, what are we seeing for both our players?
Well, you know what? A notable card on James' side of the board is that Chen Pao. We saw him use it to such great effect when up against Dragapult previously in this very tournament. So that could be a card James won't be so pleased to be seeing when he does his first deck check. So I unfortunately think that could really change things. I can see a little Clefairy plush just kind of poking out the top there from our stage. There's the fist bump. Let's get into it, folks.
Top 8 of the Masters International Championships here, the North American International Championships in New Orleans. James will be going first in this Masters Top 8. Ultra Ball being played now. Moltres having started there up against that Monkey Dory of Miguel's.
Jumping straight into the action, James summons that Mega Kangaskhan EX to the board to further his ability to draw cards. And what is one of the most powerful effects of the Pokemon trading card game, Alex?
Drawing cards.
Oh, indeedy. So we're going to need to get that on the board ever so soon. And it's also one of the reasons Miguel's deck is quite so powerful, is that drawing cards is the name of the game. Mega Kangaskhan EX, of course, has the ability to run errand once during your turn if the Pokemon is in the active spot. You can use this ability, draw 2 cards, and on the other side, we have the Dracloak's Recon Directive. You can look at 2 cards once per turn, pop one to the bottom of your deck, and put the other one in your hand. So both players will be utilizing these extra draw of cards to further their game plan.
Yep, so James has maneuvered the Mega Kangaskhan into the active spot, has been able to now use that run errand. Now has a number of options, but just passes, drew into a Meowth EX. So it's over to Miguel to start stabilizing that board. Let's see exactly what targets he decides to go for with this Poképad, at least work out what his prize, what resources he has access to for the remainder of this game 1 here. And I think he's going to be pretty, at least comfortable with what he's going to be working with.
Yeah, Miguel's prize cards were quite evenly spaced in that no one-of Pokemon cards were in there. He's probably feeling pretty good about that. And actually, looking at the spread of the prize cards, it's quite a nice order that he would typically take them in as well. So from our sneaky bird's eye view, we know that actually Miguel is sitting quite pretty here, and he should be able to make quite a good run against this Lily's Clefairy deck.
Yep, has more Pokemon Search, I believe, in hand as well. There it is, a second Poképad. Like I mentioned, we have to set up the board. We're not playing a version with rare candies. So similar to what we saw a little bit earlier with James's matchup into Justin with that Dragapult deck, Miguel's going to be looking for, and we're going to be keeping an eye on how Miguel actually sets up, stabilizes the board, and then be able to have multiple Dragapult EXs to be able to keep swinging back into those Lily's Clefairy EX should they appear as big attackers into the deck.
Well, Alex, the cat's out of the bag. Meowth's on the bench. Last Ditch Catch is activated, and Miguel has opted for Lilies, of course, to refresh his hand into that of a hand of 8 cards. A phenomenal start in getting this board state set up well. Miguel's going to need it, so every single moment will count.
One of the good things he's staring down from James's side of the board, there is no Wellspring Ogerpon EX with an energy attachment. Right now, he doesn't see James with the Lily's Clefairy kind of already began to be set up. So maybe this is a scenario where once we can go a little bit wider, start setting up those Dreepies, and then start looking for those Dracloaks so that we can utilize Recon Directive as soon as possible, get into those energy attachments because they're ever so important.
A delicious addition to our Gumbo Feast. We've been mentioning Buddy Puffin is here to call all the buddies to the bench for Miguel, choosing Dreepy and Badoo. A very potent attacker. Badoo will certainly help Miguel to slow James' play down even further. Certainly
such an important card that has been part of the Dragapult decks for some time now, since its inception, as we get the energy attachment to the Munkidori so that we can retreat. Decides to play the Risky Ruins after, of course, so we don't start to get damage counters across our board. And here comes just that little smiling Badoo, just itchy pollen all the way on James's side.
Garnishing James with that item log. Unfortunately, James won't be able to play any item cards this turn from his hand. And looking at his hand, there are quite a few items, but thankfully, Serrano's come to help out the cause, and James is able to take 3 EX Pokemon from his deck and place them into his hand. So it looks like he's choosing Pheasantipity EX, Latias EX, and Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX.
Yep, so Miguel being able to use that itchy pollen has really kind of slowed things down for the moment. James unable to play item cards on this current turn, unable to really accelerate their energy now because we've had to play the Serrano for the Pokemon EX. The other usual way James can sort of drop a number of energy cards onto the board is in a similar way to the Dragapult deck, using that Crispin to apply and attach multiple energies in a turn and then actually start causing a lot of shenanigans. There are no energies in hand either, so this is a scenario where we start just kind of setting up the board. Pheasantipity does hit the field for the moment. And then just which direction do we go down here?
It's whether James chooses to bench any other Pokemon before passing the turn over. Looks like, yeah, he's going to put some more Pokemon on the bench, but they do get hit by Risky Ruins, and so now have a couple of damage counters on each.
Itchy Pollen doing its job. Don't forget, Pheasantipity is a Dark-type Pokemon, so that's why we haven't seen any damage counters on it. Once it hit the field, hit the bench, as Miguel now chooses the first Dracloak from that Poképad. We're going to see the first Recon Directive. Has Badoo given Miguel enough time to start stabilizing, start getting energies on that board, start really then thinking about applying a lot of pressure, because those Pokemon have taken damage for those bench from James, means they're already in range of a Phantom Dive for the KO.
That's why it feels risky to play them, but I understand why James is really wanting to get things started. However, Badoo might get away. This cheeky little fella might actually be able to go ahead and Itchy Pollen some more. Miguel, in the meantime, again, getting that board ready for future turns. Crispin's here to play, cooking up a feast, bringing us 2 different types of energy, and Miguel will be able to place them in whichever way he wishes. One will be attached via the effect of Crispin, and the other will go to his hand. So he doesn't have to attach both of these. If there are others in hand, Miguel can pick and choose.
Yep, decides to go for the Monkey Dory. That Darkness Energy has been attached to it via one of the actions. And Itchy Pollen again.
Oh, he's getting away with it. Look at that guy go. Love Badoomy.
And now Mega Kangaskhan is still in the active spot, so can still continue to run errand for James here to grab some more resources into the hand. But when you're not able to accelerate energy right now, there's no Crispin in hand, for example, just kind of having to work out the game plan here.
Mega Kangaskhan EX running errands for the crew. Hopefully she comes back with some goodies, but unfortunately a boss's orders and a Wondrous Patch isn't really going to be helping James very much to continue establishing a board, really lacking energy cards at this point. Area 0 under depths is active, so James now has a potential bench of 8 Pokemon, allowing for that Meowth to come down. Last ditch catch may well be exactly that, because now James will be able to grab Crispin out of the deck, and energy finally comes along with Crispin. Yeah,
and this is where James is just looking to be the aggressor here, just to get those energies on the board. I mean, we can even just start swinging away with that Moltres, that poor little Badoo with 30 HP. Could be just one of those Pokemon which just gets knocked out with a little bit of ease because of Fighting Wings, does deal 20 damage.
Badoo doesn't like fire. It's actually really not in its wheelhouse. So I imagine Badoo's probably looking at that Moltres shaking in his little boots.
But at the same time, Miguel's going to be pretty happy with the time that has been bought from that Badoo so far anyway. But yes, it does look like we get the Moltres into the active spot now. Fighting Wings for the first prize of this Masters Top 8. And Miguel now has that Dracloak with the energy in the active spot.
Sayonara, Badoo, you did such a good job. Your time is up. And a crushing hammer comes and takes that energy away from Lily's Clefairy, being the larger threat on James's side of the board. Miguel going for that first recon directive, taking an Ultra Ball into his hand. Really beautiful little hand of cards right now. I'm liking the look of this, Alex.
Yeah,
attaching that Psychic Energy.
I think I saw the pink card that's also in hand as well. So this could allow Miguel to maybe look for a second Dracloak, evolve up one of those Dreepies onto the board state, and then finally play that unfair stamp, the ace-spec of choice for Miguel, and really just try and slow down what James has been able to do. I mean, it's been pretty slow anyway, but there it is.
Revenge for Badoo! Miguel unfair stamps. James further addressing the suppression of James's board and slowing the pace further after James recovered.
Yeah, and what I would really love to see now is, I don't think I've seen a supporter yet played by Miguel, so if we could find something like a Boss's Orders, maybe just put some damage on something like the Fizzendipity, and not actually take the knockout, not allow James to have an easy way to get more card draw, as we do get the 5 cards here for Miguel. Does find a few supporters, so can play some additional different cards. But here's the Dracloak. Can we find something like the Boss's Orders? There's a Boss's Orders. Could be a massive turn here. I think you got the excitement from both myself and Amy, because now it opens up so many different doors. If we bring up something like that Fizzendipity, just deal the 200 damage with Phantom Dive, start spreading some more damage counters around, it just means that James is a little bit more restricted with that draw power.
Do you know what? I got to commend Miguel's poker face there. I wouldn't have been able to hold that still because Boss's orders is coming into play.
What's the direction we go down? I mean, Lily's Clefairy EX is another potential target, but that does give draw power. Come on.
Maybe the Pheasantipity to take the draw power into your own hands.
That's what we're hoping for.
It's a tricky choice. Miguel going for Pheasantipity.
Perfect. I really like this. Just get the damage counters on the board state. We could really start to drive home some of the damage on James's board, especially when you've already unfair stamped him. Here it is, Phantom Dive, big bad, 200 damage to the active, and 6 damage counters in any way you like to your opponent's bench.
Normally, I'd be worried about the Chen Pao coming down, but actually, being in the prize cards, he's not getting punished for this one. James won't be able to remove that damage.
Yeah, it's something we called out so early, but that is straight into an unfair stamp, into a Crispin. Does that mean we're going straight into the Lily's Clefairy EX to retaliate? Yes, it does. Lily's Clefairy instantly powered up just like that. Unfair stamp has not saved Miguel's turn here.
Ooh, sometimes that stamp just doesn't quite stick. James has managed to worm his way out of this situation. However, there is still a lot of damage counters on James's side of the board, and Miguel has been meticulous with placing those, making sure that his Pokemath is right, and he's made sure that he can KO a lot of Pokemon a lot easier than before. Lily's Clefairy is promoted with just enough energy to take a big old KO on Dragapult EX, taking 2 further prize cards for James.
Right, down to 3 prize cards for James. Miguel here has to find Dragapult EX, has to find Crispin, has Dragapult in hand, has Crispin in hand, and then we can actually take the knockout on both Lily's Clefairy EX, take the knockout on the Pheasantipity EX as well, kind of removing more of that draw power that could be there, and then start setting up one more final knockout to take these final 2 prizes as well. So this is a real back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. This Dracloak now still can use Recon Directive as well, so let's see the direction that Miguel takes here. Oh, this is real Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. Back and forth, knockouts are coming, it feels like. Now it's just over to Miguel, just shuffling up after that Crispin. Instant attach from the Crispin supporter and attach from hand to the Dracloak in the active spot.
Miguel has a lot of prize cards to take, but he's made a lot of impact on James's board already without having to activate Pheasantipity. However, Miguel now has the choice if he belts on Pheasantipity for himself. Which will he choose?
I mean, it feels nice to have the draw power if we need it. Yveltal is always a good free retreat at some stage, and maybe even to use that clutch as well as something I wanted to try and keep an eye out on if we ever needed to do so. Pheasantipity feels strong, though, when you get the chance to draw more cards.
Dragapult's in play once again, not long until one comes back around. And of course, a Night Stretcher is played to bring back Dracloak. So Miguel has more draw power. Second Recon Directive of the turn brings us the potential of, whoa, Team Rocket's Watchtower.
Massive pickup there. That Recon Directive really coming up to the front and to the forefront of the whole deck. Being able to now not allow James to just immediately promote that Mega Kangaskhan EX. That run errand will be turned off for the moment unless James can find a bounce stadium, and we get a flip the script as well. Everything's happening here. Special red card also picked up. There's a lot of shenanigans happening here, Amy.
I like that special red card. It can be activated at this time. But for now, it's saying goodbye, Lily's Clefairy EX, for 2 beautiful prize cards for Miguel, and deciding to go for the special red card before announcing that attack. Time to really try and prevent James from coming back once again. Not much energy on James's side of the board. We've turned off those abilities, just like you said, Alex. But where are those excess damage counters going, Alex? Where do you think?
I mean, let's try and make our lives as easy as possible. I think it's just definitely going to go on a Mega Kangaskhan to put it in range of a Phantom Dive attack. And then it's just, the others are a little bit less useful, but I guess the Moltres can be brought down to 80. I guess you've got Monkey Dory if anything does ever swing into you as well, so you can start toying around with some of the damage counters. But there's now 4 EX Pokemon within range of a Phantom Dive, and that's all Miguel needed. I mean, that's quite hard to clear, even if James did have access to a Chien-Pao.
So very true. James now in a tricky situation as we move on to his turn, not being able to activate any basic normal type abilities. And unfortunately, Mega Kangaskhan fits that bill to a T. Rocket's Watchtower really putting in the work. And it's one of the caster picks that I chose for a very good reason in this event.
Just keeping an eye on
exactly. Looking through that discard pile, checking what resources have been used up thus far. James has a lot to get on with and not a lot of work to on his side of the board anyway to get to that next step. Alex, what do you think you'd be looking for if you were James right now? What's the ideal play going forward?
I mean, I feel like you still need quite a few number of different cards here, so you need as much draw power as possible. I think we're just slightly paused at the moment, just whilst we get just full confirmation of just some things that we want to just double check with the judges, or just double checking we've got as clear and clean as possible. But in the meantime, what we do want, I mean, we need to get rid of this Dragapult EX if we can. But to get there, we need some draw power, and the draw power is being stopped by that Team Rocket's Watchtower. So if we hit a stadium, and we do play a good number of them, 4 Area 0 Underdepths, we've seen lost one already.
So with a supporter play, is that really going to limit what we can do? Because surely then James won't be able to play a Crispin and a Lily's Determination for more prize cards, for more card draw. So it really feels like he's in a really sticky situation here.
Absolutely, because the usual draw power of James's deck is through Pokemon support. So it's usually the Pheasantipitys, it's usually that Mega Kangaskhan EX. Mega Kangaskhan right now turned off. Pheasantipity, we haven't got it online right now, so it's not currently available. So it depends. We haven't seen what those 3 cards that James has actually picked up from the special red card yet. So we're all just waiting with a little bit of suspense, just whilst we tidy up exactly what's happening on the board state. And we're just getting some confirmation, I'm sure, shortly as well. We're just getting, I think there's just some interpretation that's just currently happening at the table, just to make sure both players are clear with exactly what's going on. So we'll be shortly going straight back into the game, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. But for now, it is a big question of what on earth really could James do to bring it back at this stage? Because even with a 3-card hand, there may just not be enough oomph to bring it back. He's going to have to find a way of slowing Miguel down.
He's found a Dust Ball. Has he been able to find? He's found Lily's Clefairy, so that's a piece of the puzzle to try and get to a point where we can fire off an attack. Oh my, hello. Crispin also found from the special red card as well. Do we have Psychic Energy? Yes, there's 2 different types of energy there. Doesn't need the draw power.
Didn't need it.
Straight into the Lily's Clefairy EX. We're going to be firing off for Full Moon Rondo as well, and it's going to be another Dragapult EX going down.
Ouch, that is brutal. 3-card hand and really the perfect supporter to help James claw out of the Dragon's Den.
Absolutely, and I think he's got to thank Miguel for that special red card, I think, as we now see Lily's Clefairy powered up. Lily's Pearl also in hand. My gosh, look at this. This is just completely turned around. And now James goes down to 1 prize card remaining. Miguel here up against it, has 1 Drecloak remaining. Again, needs Crispin, needs Dragapult EX.
1 prize card left for James. Full Moon Rondo putting in so much work. We've seen many Rondo-based moves in the past. They've all put in work, but this Lily's Clefairy is putting in the most I've ever seen.
There aren't enough energy targets either, even if there was a Crispin in hand. So it would require at least a couple of turns to get energy attachments, especially with those energies now in the discard pile.
Is it too late?
So this is where maybe Yveltal tries to do something, tries to save the game. James actually hasn't hit the Prime Catcher from the prizes either that we saw earlier at the very, very top alongside that Chien-Pao.
It's all stuck. Gosh, that might be the only way out, is to use Yveltal's clutch attack. It only does 20 damage, but during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon cannot retreat.
Judge doesn't feel like it will be doing enough here right now, but there's also no way to gust something up with a Dark Energy and trap something. There's a Tails on the Crushing Hammer.
Oh, that's not going to help at all, unfortunately. Crushing Hammer, we're going to go for another one. I'm liking the different arts. They're very snazzy. We got ahead, so taking, of course, the Psychic type energy away from Lily's Clefairy EX, because she rather needs that.
Yeah, but then we're still in a very, very difficult position. This feels also a little bit awkward. We could Mind Bend. That could be one way to try and slow down the attack, or the attacks, I should say, from James. But we've gone and evolved up the Dracloak that has used the Recon Directive already. Got the attachment of the Psychic onto the Dragapult EX as well.
And now it's just time for Lily's, and I think it's Lily and Prey. I'm going to be honest with you, Alex. It's a little bit of a sticky situation for Miguel at this point. James only needs to take one further prize card. James will need the energy in order to do that. However, for Miguel, he needs to buy more time, and I don't know if the resources are there to be able to achieve it, especially after an Attach for Turn has already been committed to his Dragapult, and he won't be able to use any supporters or any further cards to attach to a potential Yveltal. It's a tough one for sure. Miguel making sure that he's taking everything into consideration, even the cards that James has already expended.
Yeah, double checking what resources James has gone through. Jamming Tower in hand could have been useful before. Dragapult maneuvering into the active spot. There are 8 bench Pokemon across both, so James would still need to find a Psychic Energy. It's just a Jet Headbutt. James just needs Psychic to take the final prize here with that Lily's Clefairy EX in the active spot. Doesn't have it, otherwise would have played it immediately, or at least shown it. So, which direction do we go down here? That Crushing Hammer may be proving to be more than enough right now.
To slow this down, James will need an energy, but choosing to attempt to slow Miguel back down in response. Here is Meow the EX.
And the Moltres moving into the active spot with Fighting Wings. 20 plus plenty more damage because you're attacking it into an EX, so 110 total. It's a 2-hit if we don't remove out of that active spot here. Meow, right now, a liability. But we do have energy in hand.
I don't know if it's going to necessarily be enough, but Meowth at least can be retreated back onto Miguel's bench. But is Miguel going to be able to just hang on in there long enough by pivoting Pokemon around and leaving high HP Pokemon in the active very purposefully?
Maybe you're just going to have to do it. You're just going to have to hope you don't have your opponent find a Psychic Energy. Last energy. Do we have any more Night Stretchers as well? We've definitely seen one used a little bit earlier for that Dracloak. There's another. It's going to be a Jet Headbutt, not for knockout.
No,
10 HP remaining.
Oh, it's so close yet so far, Alex. Moltres hanging in there.
Well, there's not much else James has access to in that hand. It's just this Cypher Maniacs. Can we pull anything off here? Because the only draw power on James's board is that Mega Kangaskhan.
I think James might be considering putting a boss's orders to the top of the deck. Maybe passing or just attacking into Dragapult, and then he'll draw the boss next turn for game.
Still needs an energy at that point if that Moltres does go down.
Oh, I suppose
but I guess we could draw a couple of cards with the Mega Kangaskhan on the next turn, but it does mean it's still 2 turns before that happens. And Miguel here, if we can find boss's orders, energy, Night Stretcher, I'm not too sure if there's any. If there is one more remaining. Trying to double check the prizes as well. Nothing too impactful there. So that's why Miguel maybe wanted to put down the other Dreepy just to try and get into another Dracloak, maybe see some more cards. Boss's Orders and a Night Stretcher combo would allow Miguel to take this game, because of course still needs to take 4 prizes, remember, but there's a heavily damaged Pokemon all around the board right now.
Is it possible? No sob possibility. So on to Miguel's turn. Let's see if Miguel manages to get that combo off. We just need that stretcher. We need that Night Stretcher. Judge time. Miguel and James both going to shuffle their hand into their deck. Draw 4 cards. Can Miguel see that Night Stretcher for 4 prize cards? Would be huge, but that's what he needs to take this game. He needs to get back in this somehow. That would allow 3 prize cards, possibly, with the Moltres included, evening up this race with James.
It's Mega Kangaskhan Gust, if possible. That was the dream, right?
That was
For
the
4
dream.
prizes, Mega Kangaskhan brought up to the active spot. Take 3 from that, and then Phantom Dive damage counters onto the bench.
Ooh, the Night Stretcher and a hammer. I like that.
Yeah. Crushing Hammer could prove really useful here if we just kind of remove an energy potentially from Lily's Clefairy EX. You have given James a fresh 4 cards as well from the Judge Shuffle supporter. So
Hammer could make a real difference here. Once again, just kind of pushing back at James's defenses. Here it goes. Let's see if Lily's Clefairy gets to hold on to that 1 energy or not.
Tails.
Ooh, Lily's Clefairy clutches onto that water energy, saying, "You're not having it, it's mine."
There's the Night Stretcher, so we can recover the energy here.
Night Stretch is going to grab that Fire-type energy for Dragapult to get back in this game and start taking some serious prize cards.
That Crushing Hammer could have been massive if we got that energy off the Lily's Clefairy. We could have removed maybe the Moltres also from play, meaning there would have been no energy on the board. As it is a Phantom Dive for knockouts, 1 damage counter on the Moltres to trickle it into the discard as well.
That's 3 prize cards so far for Miguel. Not going to be able to take that final prize card yet, but evening up this race, 1 prize card apiece. Can James get out of this situation? Can he find a Psychic-type energy and enough to take out this Dragapult, Alex?
2 Dust Balls in hand, Crispin in hand. I mean, this is... and maybe a way to also find something like the Pheasantipity for some draw power. There's Pheasantipity and there's Chimp. There's a number of pieces there that could have been useful. Chien-Pao being picked just to remove the Team Rocket's Watchtower. There is no Psychic energy left in deck from what we've just made sure. So Crispin isn't quite enough. We need to find something like the Wondrous Patches. There is the Chien-Pao used now. Ultra Ball. We can have a little look with him. There's Meowth. There's Wondrous Patch. There's Cypher Maniacs. This would guarantee Amy would be able to cherry pick to the top.
It's going. He's just checking through. We're getting the cards. He needs those on the top, and I love this combo. Putting 2 cards to the top of the deck with Cypher Maniacs code breaking. And guess what, Alex? Mega Kangaskhan EX can run errands, picking up those 2 cards that he cherry-picked, going ahead with the Telepathic Psychic Energy and taking a huge knockout! James is the winner of that game in our Masters Top 8.
It looked real sketchy at points for James. It felt like he was never able to get some draw power going, especially with Miguel doing his utmost to try and slow down the game with those Badoo, with the Team Rocket's Watchtower, but James just kept drawing into Lily's Clefairy EX, Crispin at the vital moments, and just taking down Dragapult EXs with ease.
Shining like a pearl. James in our top 8 is shining down on those Dragapult, creating the Fairy Zone. And you know who doesn't like the Fairy Zone? Dragapult doesn't like the Fairy Zone. But if anyone can overcome its oppression, it's Miguel. He's done it once before in this event. He could very well do it again.
Yeah, let's hear from our resident expert, Pablo. Please, just talk me through this.
Obviously super back and forth. We were all on the edge of our seats. Now, there is one thing that happened in this game that I think was the crucial turning point. We'll delve deeper into it towards the end, but that one Darkness Energy on Monkey Dory, I think that is where things change. Monkey Dory is a fantastic card, it's an amazing card, but James is all about dealing with Dragapult, so there's never going to be any damage counters, at least not on purpose. So I think we need to disregard Monkey Dory and just focus on Dragapult, Dragapult, Dragapult.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. We'll be keeping an eye out exactly how those energies are attached across the board as we're going straight into our Game 2 here of our Masters Top 8 at the North American International Championships. James, one game up. Miguel is going to be trying to turn this around. Starting off with that free retreat Yveltal. That clutch attack is potentially something that we could see happen as we get a glance into the prizes as well, Amy.
Yeah, not too bad. This is fine. If I were Miguel, I'd be probably okay with this. This is a nice distribution of supporters and Pokemon, and almost it acts as a secondary draw pile at this stage when you've got that nice distribution. No one-offs in there in particular, and actually having those Pokemon in there kind of just allows them to be safer later. You can save resources by not having to Ultra Ball, knowing that eventually you'll pluck them off the prize cards. So not too bad at all. Of course, in with a Buddy Buddy Poffin, that beautiful start that we've seen so many times before to grab extra Pokemon onto the bench. Miguel giving us Dreepy and Badoo.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that Psychic Energy that was at the top of the prizes because we've already got one committed there. There's one more left in deck, and that's where we saw already that Crispin, not really a potential option for pretty much both decks as well. Because it's so interesting for both our players that their engine of energy acceleration is that Crispin. As we see a top deck of that Lily's Clefairy EX for James's turn.
Ooh.
Instantly going for that Crispin. Can we be a massive aggressor here? We can run errand to draw 2 further cards. James can then start applying so much pressure. Of course, we'll double check the prizes first, but can just keep plowing through with something like that Full Moon Rondo, should he choose to do so.
The only thing I'd like to take of note in James's prize cards is that James runs 3 Terra Pokemon, and that is what he's going to need to activate Area 0 Underdepths, and 2 of those terrestrialized Pokemon are in his prize cards. So currently working with 1 Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX as being the only way for him to activate that big stadium and go for those larger knockout amounts. Now, obviously, with our Lily's Clefairy EX, it does make it a lot easier in this matchup. You don't need that, but we've seen it used to great effect for James to be able to pseudo-heal his Pokemon in previous rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. We get now a Dust Ball, so looking for an opportunity to further extend and sort of stabilize that board if James does go for this very aggressive route to start taking prizes on his turn 1. Don't forget.
I like it. I like it a lot. Pheasantipity down. We've seen James already utilize Pheasantipity early in the matches, and it's gone really well for him. A lot of people would consider that Pheasantipity might be a liability on a board state against Dragapult, but in this instance, it's just more important for James to prioritize protecting his board state and being always able to draw cards in case of that Team Rocket's Watchtower.
Here it is. Lily's Clefairy into the active spot. Full Moon Rondo. Turn 1 attack. We're taking prizes. We're forcing the issue. We're saying to Miguel, if you can't deal with this, we're going to keep taking prizes.
It's going to be a bad time for Miguel if he can't find a way to slow the game down now. And Badoo can help a little bit by preventing James from playing item cards. But with a Lily's Clefairy EX raring and ready to go for back-to-back attacks, Badoo's unfortunately going to have possibly quite little effect for at least a while. Miguel might need more setup time. So really, it's on Miguel at this point to get as many Dreepy out as possible, and that's what he's going for.
Yeah, as many Dreepy, as many Drecloak, and hit as many heads on those crushing hammers, I think, Amy. It's just going to be so important here to really slow the game down enough that he can keep evolving up these Pokemon.
Oh, speak of the hammer, and it shall appear.
There's one.
Okay, it's the tails.
Didn't mean it just by the number. There's
Come
2.
on. Oh, no!
That is super unfortunate because that's one of the key ways to just come back into this game. Now, this Lily's Clefairy still continues to have 2 energies attached to it and can continue to full moon Rondo just through Miguel's board right now. Miguel still only having 2 Dragon Pokemon on the bench. We're going to need to go wide. We're going to need to go quick, because if James also then finds some boss's orders, he can start targeting down some of those Pokemon that have energies attached to them.
Hammers really could have made such a difference and given Miguel that breathing space he needed. So he's going to need to find another way around it. There's another crushing hammer. Is it time? Does he try for the 3rd hammer? He's going for Recon Directive first. There's another one. No way.
We can go,
he's taking it.
Full hog and go all 4 blades on his turn 2.
No.
Maybe that's the way. Maybe.
Oh. You'd love to see it, but it wouldn't allow him the flexibility of having them later. But here's a 3rd crushing hammer.
We might not get it later, Amy. We need it now.
True. No! 3 tails! Surely one of these has to hit ahead statistically.
There we go. That's 1.
There's 1. 2 would have been really beautiful to have seen, but 1, I feel like 1 in 4 is only fair at that stage.
Yeah, all 4 crushing hammers gone. All 4 ways to really slow the game down now gone, and hasn't been able to find a 2nd Dracloak. So James
Pollen.
here under Itchy Pollen lock, but boss's orders in hand.
No way, Alex. And the attack for turn just going on in hot with Lily's Clefairy EX. Full Moon Rondo doing its job, taking down that Dracloak, preventing Miguel from drawing as many cards, and of course, progressing James's game and taking Lily's Pearl off the prize cards is quite lovely.
Yeah, now having to just play down the Monkey Dory to the board as well. Just doesn't want to see it back into the deck. Miguel's going to be looking for anything that can save these future turns. Really try and slow the game down, but we can't stop Lily's Clefairy EX attacking anymore. Crushing Hammer's all gone.
All dried up of hammers. So Lily's Clefairy EX is there to stay for at least 1 more turn. We'll be able to take at least 1 further prize card. This Lily's Clefairy has done so much work. She's going to deserve a big rest after this battle. Miguel now getting that fresh hand of 8 cards to hopefully help get some Dracloaks into play would be fantastic. Did hit the Night Stretcher, so that can be utilized to take a Dracloak from the discard pile that was just knocked out, and he can then use Recon Directive to hopefully push into another, or maybe even using an Ultra Ball to guarantee it. Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you are sending one of them down to the bottom of the deck.
I mean, we could take the Pokepad, use it to take the Dracloak, then you get both.
Definitely an
Technically.
option. Definitely an option. Or not shuffle cards around so that we then get the Recon Directive for the 2nd one as well. We have Ultra Ball to shuffle the Pokepad back around the deck as well if we need to.
Recon Directive.
Just
Again.
double
Stadium
checking.
or Crispin.
There is one more Dreepy that's not evolved yet, but I think one of them may have been put down this turn, so we can't evolve the final one.
Indeed. Looks like, was that the Risky Ruins going to the bottom? Or
Picked
no,
up to
selected.
hand.
Maybe choosing to potentially get Monkey Dory involved in this battle.
I mean, this is one way that he could have gone down the route in that game 1 with that Dark Energy on the Monkey Dory previously, and he's gone for it again. So energy attachment to the Monkey Dory. Yeah, there was already a Fire Energy on that Dreepy from the previous turn, I'm pretty sure, because he spread the energies out, but couldn't evolve it up to a Dracloak. There's another Itchy Pollen there, again, to slow down the game. Does James have another boss's orders? That could be really impactful. Doesn't look like it for the time being.
Telepathic Psychic Energy, the one of in deck, but really allowing James to push forward, get another Lily's Clefairy EX into play, and just continue the pace.
I'm imagining counting out those energies because we're going to see a Crispin once again. Let's get a 2nd Lily's Clefairy EX
delicious.
powered up and just say, well, you've got no Crushing Hammers now, so even if you remove Psychic Energy somehow, if you did have them, it's not possible, so I'm safe attaching these energies right here, right now, or at least getting the Crispin Energy Acceleration right here, right now. And we'll put the Fire Energy maybe back in hand.
It feels less risky when you know there's no crushing hammers coming your way, huh, Alex?
Absolutely. And this is where, you know, James is just trying to set up a board state where he can't be impacted. Oh, just double checking. There's already an energy attachment from the telepathic psychic energy, right? Because that's how we got the Lily's Clefairy, but that's an easy fix.
Another knockout from Lily's Clefairy EX. This Lily's Clefairy has taken 3 solid knockouts, and now with the assistance of Lily's Pearl, is now only a single prizer itself. Miguel having to overcome this really ferocious Lily's Clefairy will only award him 1 prize card as current.
Dragapult EX found via this recon directive, so we do need to take this knockout on this active Lily's Clefairy EX, of course. We know another one's going to be coming down shortly as the second recon directive finds fire energy and a boss's orders.
Need the psychic energy, so that's not quite it.
This is what I mentioned. We know 1 is prized. 1's currently in the discard pile. There's only 1 left in the deck. There's a Meowth now with the last-ditch catch. Risky Ruins, put some damage counters on it.
That will help Miguel to fix that maths on some of James' bench Pokemon.
Yeah, and also keeping track, he's already used 1 Night Stretcher at the same time as well. So we only really have access to 1 more Night Stretcher. Does play 2 copies to be able to then find another Psychic Energy should this current maybe active Dragapult, which might be attacking shortly, go down.
Still feels risky if you're Miguel. There's a lot of fairy type goodness going on in the fairy zone right now. And there's not a lot that he can do to push back other than potentially using special red card or judge.
Yeah, so there's the Dragapult EX. Evolved up in the active spot. Special red card now live because James has taken 3 prizes as well.
Special red card, of course, being one of the only ways Miguel can currently force James back in this matchup, putting cards back into his deck and only drawing 3. James does have really limited card draws, so Miguel's just trying to push back and allow himself space to breathe and space to place these damage counters, do some attacks, and finally start taking prize cards.
Yep, so the Monkey Dory now being activated with Adrenabrain. We can put some damage counters that was taken from the Meowth EX coming down onto the field to that Latias EX. Here's the Phantom Dive. Knockouts coming, Amy. Knockout on the active. And just putting all 6 damage counters on that Lily's Clefairy EX. Kangaskhan in the active spot. We have so many good cards. That's helpful. Wondrous Patch, Meowth. We have Flip the Script. We have Run Errand. There's so much going for James here.
James unlocking the potential of that draw power now since a prize card has finally been taken by Miguel, but only a singular one thanks to Lily's Pearl. Activating Pheasantipity, gaining 3 extra cards, still has the potential for Kangaskhan. A lot can now kick off for James. We just need to see another energy card. We do have now the Wellspring Ogerpon, so his stadium can become live.
We can go wide, certainly go wide here, but we have energy, like you said. Energy in hand, we've got Cypher Maniacs. We can run Errand into any 2 cards that we'd like if we wanted to do so. So there's just so many options available to James right now that he could just really overcome whatever Miguel puts in front of him. It's just down to which routes James can take to just guarantee himself on a future turn the victory here.
So which 2 cards is James going to be putting to the top of the deck? That is the question. Which 2 are going to be optimal right now?
Decides to not play it yet. Shuffles up, plays the Dusk Ball first.
Thinning.
Yeah.
Love
Thinning
to see
is
it.
winning, as many of us like to say. Loads of options there. Again, Latias and the Meowth options in hand. Meowth always an important card. Just that incredible ability we've seen across many different Pokemon over the history of Pokemon TCG. Here comes the Cypher Maniacs code breaking now, and it's all about setting up your board state so that you can take the victory on a future turn.
Not
potentially.
much is needed to be able to take a knockout on this turn. James already has the cards in hand to make it happen. What James needs to do is solidify this next turn, knowing that Miguel can very likely KO whatever James leaves in the active spot.
We have energy in hand already. I think I saw a Wondrous Patch
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
Lily's Clefairy EX. We just need like something like a boss's orders if we want an easier knockout. Another Wondrous Patch to power up the second Lily's Clefairy EX. There are a number of different ways for James to be able to do so as we get the run errand for the 2 picks there. Lily's Clefairy and a Wondrous Patch.
Good idea, James. I like your way of thinking. There's an extra energy on that Lily's Clefairy EX on the bench, the fresh Lily's Clefairy EX, and the damaged one is receiving that fighting type energy, and now it's ready to rumble. Wondrous Patch helps with the extra energy on the bench. Lily's Clefairy, James doesn't need anything else now. He's got enough to take those final prize cards, so a big KO! James taking down one more Dragapult with 1 prize card remaining. Can Miguel catch up?
Yeah, what is the game plan here for Miguel? It's looking like a real tall order, especially when you've lost your Dragapult EX once again. Was hoping that special red card would stick. But unfortunately, with all the draw power that James has available, there's not much that can be done. Pheasantipity chosen here from the Ultra Ball, maybe trying to turn the tables with that flip the script ability. When the opponent has taken a knockout on their last turn, you may activate his ability and draw 3 cards.
Can Miguel worm his way out of a sticky situation? Double Lily's Clefairy in play makes it incredibly difficult at this stage. Regardless of whatever he might do to stifle James's plan, at the end of the day, James has 2 Pokemon ready in the wings. The only thing that could possibly stop him, surely, is a clutch Yveltal at this stage. I don't know if it would be enough to have any longevity in this game, however.
It's just a case of how long would that work for. If you are just joining us, this is the Masters Top 8 of the North American International Championships. James currently 1 game up and 1 prize card away from making it into the top 4 of this tournament. Miguel doing his utmost to try and stop this. Has Judge in hand, has Night Stretcher in hand. And Night Stretcher, I said, was always going to be so pivotal because both Psychic Energies are in the discard pile right now, and the final third is prized. Flip the script. Has that helped in any way?
Secures a Dark Energy if we did want to go down the clutch route, but it's still a very sticky situation for Miguel, and it would matter which way that we go with this. I think it is going to be the Night Stretcher for the Psychic type energy. Miguel choosing to just get this Dragapult online and take the knockout on this Lily's Clefairy. And unfortunately, it won't be lasting too much longer on the field if he chooses to do so.
Yeah, there is not really a way. Every Pokemon has free retreat because of Skyliner. The ability on the Latias EX. Choice of the Meowth to the active spot. This is the last stand, it feels like, from this Dragapult EX. Phantom Dive, knockouts on the Meowth. Lily's Clefairy coming to the active spot.
And Lily's Clefairy takes the game! James moving into top 4 as rare and sparkly as Lily's Pearl, going forth, defeating the Dragon Master himself. Miguel has done fantastic in this event thus far, but taken down by James.